Order 66 is a real tragedy in the Star Wars universe. For some, it was a final step towards the enslavement of the galaxy and the destruction of the ancient Jedi Order, and for others, the beginning of the dark times. The long Clone War did not end as expected. We know that the Jedi Temple was purged by the fallen Anakin and the 501st Clone Legion, but what happened to it next, during the 4th, 5th and 6th episodes? At first, the temple was used as a trap for the surviving Jedi, but then when most of them were exterminated, Emperor Palpatine instructed to destroy everything inside the temple that symbolizes the Jedi and their wretched order. Kanan Jarrus in the TV series Rebels said that the Empire turned the temple into dust, left no stone unturned from it, but this is not true from a certain point of view. The last time the Jedi Temple was shown to us in the 6th episode during the celebration of the victory over the Empire, or rather, it was his latest appearance chronologically. There he is, standing quietly in the distance, still as beautiful and without Imperial banners. What is most interesting, this scene was added only during the reissue of the original trilogy, and there are even several variations of the scene. The earliest of them do not have the temple and the Senate building. They were added later, which only confirms the status of the temple despite the opinion of Kanan Jarrus, although he could exaggerate. The exterior of the temple remained unchanged, but the interior was completely reconstructed and cleaned up. The once great Jedi Temple turned into the personal residence of the Emperor himself. The building was covered with a plethora of Imperial canvases with Imperial symbols, and the temple looked more like a gloomy castle than a shrine of the Force. After the successful execution of Order 66, the bodies of the deceased Jedi were burned, and their lightsabers were blown up as a salute symbolizing the death of the Order. And although the temple premises were cleared of traces of the battle, legends indicate that in some tunnels there were still traces of the dried blood of the dead Padawans, which was never washed. But this is all on the pages of books. But did the Jedi Temple ever appear again on the screen? His condition after the 3rd episode is best demonstrated in the game The Force Unleashed, which was recognized as a non-canon. Peeling walls, leaning spires, toppled statues, destroyed relics, and many clones that continue to be on duty at the site of the extermination of the Jedi. A sad sight, but as I said, the game has long been recognized as not canon, although this concept has always been strange to me. I am of the opinion that if a lot of money was poured into this project and it was supervised personally by Lucas, then what is shown in it is at least partially not far from the truth. At least the planet's name and their content are correct. When the temple was rebuilt into the Imperial Palace, Palpatine spent most of his time giving political affairs to his subordinates. He didn't really want to delve into the affairs of the galaxy and appear less and less at the Senate meeting no longer. But the most interesting thing is that after some time, Palpatine discovered an ancient Sith shrine located deep under the temple. We told you about it in one of our videos before about the secret dungeon of the temple. If you didn't look, you can do it by the hint above. The way Palpatine stumbled upon the catacombs is described in the novel Tarkin. In this place, the Emperor felt unity with the dark side of the Force, and he was increasingly asserting his rightness about the blindness of the Jedi. He did not understand. How could they not notice the Shrine of the Sith under their own lair? Although they may have noticed it, they didn't tell anyone about it. As you understand, for all subsequent years, the temple was the personal palace of the Emperor Palpatine, from which he practically did not get out. It happened that Darth Vader himself wandered through the deserted halls of the temple and recalled all that he had experienced here with his teacher and friends. What could have been the wind rushing into the leaky corridors, which no one had penetrated before? Sounded like the funeral cry of spirits waiting for revenge. What could have been the resonance of Commander Appo's stormtroopers' footsteps sounded like distant beat of battle drums. What could have been smoke from fires that should have been extinguished weeks earlier looked more like ghosts writhing in agony. Such are the memories of the fallen Anakin. From now on, the Jedi Temple was one large tombstone with a monument in the form of several spires, symbolizing a mass grave. As for the events of the sequels, according to the original script of the 9th episode, Coruscant was supposed to have a lot of screen time, including the Jedi Temple. There are many concepts of the cancelled film, and according to them, the Jedi Temple was supposed to become the personal residence of the distraught General Hux. However, Disney considered such a scenario bad and decided to completely rework the 9th episode. But you can see how it was originally planned to be done by following the link in the description. Believe me, there is something to see there. Whether the temple will appear in new projects or not is unknown, but I always want to see such great buildings on the screen again. If the video was interesting to you, subscribe to the channel. I don't ask for more. Thank you all so much for watching.